Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. I'm coming to you today with a tarot reading based on what you need to hear for the year of 2025. So we're going to break this down into the four seasons basically. And to pick your pile, I want you to imagine that there's this bright white light at the top of the universe. Breathe in and pull this light through your body, through your aura, and charge the ground beneath your feet. Then pull this light back up through your body and charge your heart center. So grow your heart center in this golden sphere of light. Now feel this energy for just a moment and open your eyes when you're ready. And the pile that you feel the most drawn to is going to be the pile for you. I have the timestamps listed in the description below that will take you to your reading. Hey everybody that chose pile number 1, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear for the year of 2025. So you have chosen the card Air. And this is card number 16, and it says, work with the element of air to see the truth. So the element of air is great for a lot of things when you are working with it, whether this is in ceremonial magic or you're trying to connect with it in other ways. But the element of air is about the mind. This is really centered around communication, your thoughts, the mental body. This also obviously has a lot to do with the truth and the cutting away of things that do not serve the truth. So there might be an emphasis on clearing the mind and getting rid of the garbage that we put into our mind that is not benefiting us in our lives. It's not creating the results that we really want to have. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling some tarot cards to see what else are the messages that we have for you for this year. So we're going to be starting out with the beginning of the year. So in the Northern Hemisphere, this will be winter. Just reverse it if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, but this is really about the first 3 months of the year. So let's see what we've got for you. All right, pile number 1. The first thing that we have is the 7 of Pentacles. I'm sorry, the 8 of Pentacles. So the 8 of Pentacles is about building up your skill, doing your hard work. There is a love for the work. There is a love for this creation, a love for the process. So you need, again, this has a lot to do with the element of air. Because if you are interested in the Tree of Life and you are interested in studying tarot with Kabbalah, 8 will be Hod, all of the 8. So the 8 of Pentacles corresponds with Hod, which highlights our magic, our skills. This highlights our communication. This is very closely related to the element of air because it has to do with the mind, the logistics, and the analytics of things. So I think that the first 3 months, you are honing your craft and you are getting really, really good at whatever this thing is that you're trying to create. So this could be creating a business. This could be creating some sort of body of work. This could be excelling at your job or going farther within your career. The Pentacles has a lot to do with career and it has a lot to do with finances and money. But this can also be about the environment too. So having a stable and structured environment is going to be really, really important for you for the first 3 months of the year throughout winter, or again, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, this would be summer. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the next part, and we're going to pull clarifications on these two. Awesome. So I definitely see this being very well worth it, well worth the work. Also, with the 8 of Pentacles, this can represent study and continuing education in certain areas. So that might be something that you're thinking about doing. We also have the 9 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups is like the wish card. It's your wish being fulfilled. This is you setting up your foundation for the future, but this is really, really centered around fulfillment. The cups are all about this emotional fulfillment. So I think within the next 3 months, so we're talking about the end of March, April through June, you will be excelling. I think that you will be achieving your dreams, achieving your goals, and I think that you'll be living a little bit more in the present moment. appreciating what you have now and letting what you have now fulfill you. This is going to raise your energy. This is going to raise your frequency so that way you can achieve even more when it comes to your dreams and when it comes to your goals. I definitely feel like so far this is very goal oriented for 2025 for you guys for pile number one. All right, so let's go ahead and get the next card for the season of summer. Again, if you're in the southern hemisphere, this would be winter. So this is going to be July, August, most of September. We have the High Priestess. I think this is very interesting, and I think it's going to depend a little bit more on the other card, the clarification card that I pull out. That's probably going to tell me a little bit more about this because the High Priestess is a bit more of a secretive card. It's showing that there are things that are hidden. There are things that are not completely out in the open, and there are some things that we have to dig deeper for. So I think that for you, this could mean that there's this level of secrecy around this time, around the third quarter of the year. There's going to be a little bit of secrecy. There's going to be an element of you trying to uncover something. You are diving deep into your subconscious mind, maybe trying to find answers. Maybe you're doing a little bit of shadow work. That could be it. That's not necessarily a negative thing or a bad thing. It's just you are diving a little bit deeper into yourself and probably diving a little bit deeper into what this goal or what are your ambitions, what do you see for your future, but something is not known. There is not a clear answer or a very clear direction yet, and I think that that's something that you're going to be going through around the second half of this year. All right, so let's see what else we've got. Okay, we have the King of Wands. I've pulled this card out so much lately. It almost makes me want to do a deep dive on the card soon. But okay, so towards the end of the year, we have you stepping into your most authentic self. You are stepping into your authenticity. You do not care about what people think about you. And okay, so let's go back to this element of air for a second before we finish off this King of Wands, because the element of air, like I was saying at the beginning, this is your thoughts, your mental body, and when air is out of balance, we could be thinking a lot or having ruminating thoughts. We might be really afraid of what other people think of us. We kind of dwell within that anxiety realm. And I see 2025 being the year for you where you are really shedding all of those insecurities, shedding all of those old beliefs that you've had about yourself and also the way people perceive you. You are stepping more into your most authentic self and letting that light shine out, because the King of Wands shows somebody who is in their authoritative power. They could be in a position of leadership, so this could be you stepping into a position of power, and you are just not caring about what people think about it. When you have certain opinions or you are creating something in a certain way that's different and it goes against the grain, there is no fear or inhibitions anymore. It's just you being you, and you're not afraid to express that. And that's actually going to help you get a lot farther. That's going to put you into some sort of position of power, is because you do challenge ideas. You challenge the norm, I think. All right, so let's get our clarifications. So for this first half of the year, what do we have for pile number one? Your dreams need a practical plan. So this is for the first half of the year. And that actually makes a lot of sense, coinciding with the, or corresponding with this Eight of Pentacles. Because you are, again, honing your craft. You are maybe learning new skills or taking a class or doing something that is getting you better at what it is that you do. this you have a specific goal, you have an ambition. Maybe you're somebody who sets a New Year's resolution. Maybe that's something that you do, but whatever this is, you're being advised that this needs a practical plan. Employ the element of air, because air, like I was saying, is going to cut away some of this um, junk that is there, and will help you to uncover the truth or find that clarity and that focus that you're actually really needing. All right, now for the second half of the year, let's see what we've got for you with these Moonology cards. The energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. So, with that second half of the year, I think after the summer solstice, and again, if you're in the southern hemisphere, that's the winter solstice. Just reverse what I'm saying if you're in the southern hemisphere, but really towards the end of June and onwards, this is going to be gaining momentum. So even though there might be this period with the high priestess, there might be this period between June and September where it feels like you are doing some shadow work, or it might feel like you are going internal more. Um, you are applying the wisdom that you've been gaining throughout the year, the wisdom that you have been learning with this Eight of Pentacles, the skills and all of the things that you've been internalizing. You are starting to apply it, and it might be a little bit difficult through that time, but that's not a bad thing. You are learning very quickly, and as you are doing that, it might not seem at the time that you're gaining that momentum, but keep going, keep persevering. Persevering is something that you do on a daily basis. It's not something that you just do once, or it's an eventful thing that you persevere. It's something that you do on a daily basis. You have to stay consistent. But as you reach the last quarter of the year, I think that you're going to really see how much compounding interest you have built around your goal. Okay, so I want to see if there is a specific message for that High Priestess card, because I was saying that I wanted to get a little bit more clarification on that one. So let's see if we have something that jumps out at us. Interesting. We have surrender. This is card number 31. It's called surrender. Usually when I pull these cards for people, I have them look into the card. I have who I'm reading for look into the card and tell me what they see in the card, because we all can kind of notice something that's a little bit different than each other, and that usually highlights something that's really important. So I encourage you to take a look into this card, and if you see something that really jumps out at you and you have an interpretation for it, please leave it in the comments or just meditate on this on your own. But with this surrender card, I feel like it is very straightforward. At least it is to me. And I think it's about surrendering to the process. And I think that it might have something to do with what it is that you're cutting out in your life. It could be negative thinking. It could be it could be so many things. It could boil down to relationships or just habits that we're doing that is really not benefiting us in any way. But you need to surrender to the fact that you need to let something go. You need to let things be as they are. You need to surrender to the processes and the systems that you need to put in place to get better at something. So there's this idea within spirituality, I think, where people want to be present and ever flowing and all of that, and that's true. But sometimes people neglect the other side where it's like we actually do need to put things into action, and we do need to think about the future, and we do need to have that fire energy to break through obstacles. Those are still things that we need too. So it's really this delicate balance between the two. That's the discernment, and that's kind of really the real goal of spirituality, is to be able to have that balance between these two. But I think for you, that's going to be a theme too. It's going to be focusing on knowing when to surrender, what to surrender to, and what things do you need to give up in life to get what it is that you want. There's going to be some sort of sacrifice. It could be time. You might be sacrificing time. You might be sacrificing money. You might be sacrificing events, things with friends. I don't know. If you think about it in like an example of losing weight or something, we're sacrificing foods that taste really good or highly palatable. There are ways to make healthy meals, but I'm going off on a tangent. But what I'm trying to say is that whatever goal that you have in life, you're giving up something to get it. So that is what the surrender is about. We have to surrender to the system and to the process in order to get to that place that we want to go. But at the same time, letting things flow and being in the present moment. There's a lot to be said about that, and it's I could talk all day long about it, but it's not really going to help you. The only thing that's going to help you is actually putting that into practice and trying to figure it out for yourself, because you are you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your sacred geometry cards. We have card number 44. I wonder if 44 is a special number for you guys, but it says universal love. The card says the frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. So this unconditional love or universal love, I would try to meditate on the sun. I think I've talked about this in quite a few readings. But meditations on the sun can be really powerful. So if you really think about it, the sun is constantly giving life to the earth. It is constantly feeding the earth with life. The sun doesn't go anywhere. Of course, it sets at the end of the day and it comes back. But, if the sun weren't there, we wouldn't be here. It gives life to the plants and we eat the plants. And if you're not a vegetarian, you eat the animals that eat the plants. And we get our nutrition and our ability to stay alive. We breathe in the oxygen that the plants give off. All of this is attributed to the sun. If the sun weren't here, we wouldn't, well, first of all, we wouldn't be revolving around this fiery ball that gives us life. But the sun is the source of our energy. So taking a moment and thinking about the love of the sun, and this isn't going to be the same type of love as like mother and child. Excuse me. This isn't going to be the same type of love as like mother and child or friendship love or romantic love. We're talking about nature and how nature loves itself and how nature is having this desire to create and nurture and nourish and grow. That is the point of life. So meditating on the sun, being really light about it, can bring this energy and awareness back into your mind. And if there's any way that you can integrate that into your life in practical ways, that's going to benefit you very, very greatly throughout this year. Okay, so I'm going to pull some of these Tree of Life Oracle cards. Let's see what we've got for you. You have the Pillar of Mercy. So if any of you guys study Kabbalah or you're into Kabbalah, the tarot and Kabbalah are closely linked together. Actually, I have a course on studying Kabbalah and tarot. You can check out the link in the description if you're interested in that. But the Pillar of Mercy is going to be, it's considered the masculine pillar, and I don't want you to think of like male and female. We're just talking about outward going energy or expansive energies. That is going to be represented by this Pillar of Mercy. So the spheres that we have along this pillar are going to be really expansive. Venus is your love, your motivation, your passion, creativity. Jupiter is your expansion. It is your abundance and your growth. And Hakma on the Tree of Life, it can be represented by a planet, but I don't really look at it that way. I look at this as the wheel of the zodiac. So this is about our cycles and getting deeper to the heart of something, or having certain knowledge revealed to us, having an answer revealed to us. It's our wisdom. And it's also about how we apply that wisdom to create that expansiveness and that growth. I think that you are being asked to lean a little bit into these merciful, expansive energies this year. So this is going to be a little bit more focused on being present. So yes, you're putting in action. Yes, you're gaining skills. And yes, we've talked a little bit about the fiery aspects of these energies, like having the drive to complete something or to overcome obstacles. Those are all important, yes. But I think that your what am I trying to say? I think that You being able to be present and observe the situation from the outside, observe yourself from the outside, focus on right now and the systems and the routines that you can develop on a daily basis. That's going to be the most important. You have to love what you're doing right now, or else you're not going to stick to it in the future. You're not going to reach that goal if you don't love what you're doing right now. Um, so focus on that, and also focus on expansive things like meditation, clearing the mind, working with that element of air, cutting through all of this garbage, also helping other people, providing value to other people, being of service to other people. Those are all going to be very, very big themes, I think, for you throughout this year. Okay, so let's see what else we've got for you. We're coming towards the end of your reading, so let's get a few cards to close this out. Very interesting. You have find the pause button. So that does mean that you need to take a minute. You need to take a break, I think, with something and reevaluate. Again, your dreams need that practical plan. And that's not going to come about if you are in the rat race, if you are completely hyped up. You have a lot of ruminating thoughts, or you're in fear of something, that you're not going to come up with this practical plan while you are in overdrive. You need to take a second. You need to take a second and figure things out. And I swear, this is so weird. You have surrender again. You have another deck that's telling you to surrender. So this is so crazy. Okay. I mean, it happens sometimes where there's synchronicities this clear. So it's very obvious you need to find that pause button. You need to surrender. You need to do some meditations. You need to detach from certain things. So surrender, it says you're being asked to let go of your need to control each part of your life and surrender to the universe. Control is an illusion, and it's exhausting to try to hold on to it. Let it go and allow yourself to enjoy the relief that comes from doing so. So you can't control completely the relationships, the money, the career, the you hitting your goals or not. Yes, you do have a sense of control in one way, and that is your choices. What choices do you make on a daily basis, and what are the systems that you have in place to get to where you want to go? If you have your systems in place and you work a little bit on something each day, you're going to get there. But you can't control the way that it comes about, and you can't control how it happens. You can't control exactly where it happens. All you can do is do your best, because that weight of worrying about it, that is what really blocks us from getting it. It muddles up our energy. It makes us feel horrible. So really take that deep breath and focus on the processes. Take that break. All right, so we are coming to the very last card, so I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation. Yours says, I am thankful. May I continue to see the good in my life and express my gratitude freely. Awesome. So thank you all who chose pile number 1 for tuning into this reading. If you want a personal reading done by me, you can check out the link in the description. I do offer private readings. Also, again, I have a tarot course, which is studying tarot with Kabbalah. I have a Kabbalah course and a ceremonial magic course, so you can check out all of those things in the link in the description below. They start in January. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you all next time. Thank you. Hey everybody that chose pile number 2, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear for the year of 2025. So, you have chosen the Goddess card, pile 2, and this card is labeled with 24, and it says Healing Feminine Energy. So, this could be a conscious choice to choose this card, but of course it could be more subconscious. But ultimately, the goal of 2025 is healing this receptive energy within the self, or being able to take in things and to grow and nurture. So we'll uncover a little bit more about that theme as we move on throughout the reading. So we're going to go ahead and pull these tarot cards for you. So the first card that we have is the Knight of Pentacles. So this is going to be highlighting the first 3 months of the year. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is going to represent winter. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, just reverse what I'm saying. So this will represent summer if you're in the southern hemisphere. But for the northern hemisphere, your winter is going to be represented by the Knight of Pentacles, which is going to be the slow growth. You're probably cultivating a stable environment for you to live in, to dwell in. It could be you working on the body, making changes within the body. Maybe you have this New Year's resolution. This can also be finances and building better finances. It could be getting your promotion with work or just working on making progress within your career. The next part of the year, we have this King of Pentacles. So it's very interesting how we go from the Knight of Pentacles into the King of Pentacles, and the King is somebody who, both of these cards are very action oriented. So even though this growth is kind of slow for the first few months of the year, you're still taking action and you're putting in a lot of work. You're building your routines, your structure. You're definitely focusing on structure to create this long-term growth. But when we enter into the spring, northern hemisphere spring, reverse it for the southern, as we enter this next phase, you are going to be growing very rapidly. The king is also putting in action, but you have acquired. So I don't think this slow growth that I'm talking about is really going to be that slow. I still think that you're going to make rapid growth as soon as we enter into the second quarter of the year. So let's go ahead and figure out what's going on. What is the energy for the third quarter? And we're also going to pull clarification cards for these too, so it doesn't just stop here at the tarot. We have another Pentacles card. So as we are moving into like June, July, August, September, like that area of the year, like the end of June through September, we have this Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is about looking back on our hard work and appreciating what we've done, reevaluating. It can be about preparing for the future. It can be about saving for a rainy day. That's possible. And that doesn't mean that you should save for a rainy day or you should not. I mean, everybody should definitely think about the future, of course, but this isn't leaning like one way or the other what you should and shouldn't do for that. But this is going to be you looking back at the hard work that you've put in and what is it that you've acquired. There's still more to go ahead of you, but this is appreciating the beauty of the system and the process and what you're working on. This is very, very stable energy for the year. This is very focused on your growth, I think, business-wise, career-wise, financial, and your home environment. And this could also be focused on the body if you're trying to change the body in some way. So let's see what this last quarter of the year has in store for you. Pile 2. We have the Empress, so it's no wonder we pulled this goddess card, or this is the reading centered around the goddess energy, healing that feminine energy, because we pulled the Empress. That is your final quarter of the year, so this is going to be focused on healing this feminine energy. The Empress is very closely related, I think, to this suit, the Pentacles, because the Pentacles represents the element of earth, which is a feminine element. It is the vessel that holds the energy of all of these other elements and these higher energies. It all leads into the body. It leads here into earth. All right. The Empress is the feminine figure, and she is growing. She is typically depicted as pregnant, so she is growing this future within her, and she is nourishing it, nurturing it as it's going to be born. So this whole year, you're going to be focusing on the rest of your life, the future. You're growing something that is going to affect the rest of your life, which is something that's really beautiful. I think this could be creating a family. Not everybody's going to be wanting to create a family, but the year 2025 for you guys will probably be something that is very beneficial to creating a family or creating a home environment that you actually really, really cherish and love. And this isn't going to be hard work either. Maybe the first half of the year you have a lot of energy to put into this, and you are becoming stable, yes, but by the end of the year I don't think that this is going to be really hard work. You're going to be stepping into that feminine energy, which is that receptive energy of letting things come to you. It's going to come easier to you, I think. All right, so moonology, we have don't let your past hold you back, South Node. So this is going to resonate with the first half of the year. So if you can repeat this kind of like a mantra going forward, at least for the first half of the year, is don't let your past hold you back. Really, don't let your past hold you back. There might have been things that happened this last year in 2024, or even before that, that have really weighed on you. Maybe stopped you from achieving your goals. Maybe stopped you from achieving this relationship that you want to have, or the family that you want to have, the home life that you want to have, or the career. So for the second half, this really is in perfect alignment with the other cards that I've pulled. But we have prosperity lies ahead. With the new moon in Taurus, I think there's going to be a big new beginning in the second half of the year, that your hard work is really, really, really paying off in the second half of the year. So your prosperity lies ahead. And that is corresponding right here with the Empress, which is receiving, growing, of course, growing and nurturing, but it's also receiving, and it's very abundant. This energy is extremely abundant. So focus on those energies as you move into the year 2025. All right, so let's see what we've got for your cosmic reading cards. Okay, so we have strength. This is card number 30. I think that when we get into maybe June, July, there's probably going to be a time where it feels like your strength is being tested. This could be that you've been putting in a lot of work and you are looking back at what you've done, what you've accomplished, but you might feel a tiny bit discouraged. But the results are coming, and you're being asked to push through, even if it gets a little bit difficult, even if you don't feel like you have accomplished certain things that you wanted to accomplish. So, going back to that the Seven of Pentacles, we're looking back at all of these things that we've done. You might be encouraged to make a list of everything that you have completed. Even now, don't wait till the center of the year to do this. Do this now. Make a list of all of the things that you have accomplished this year. Could be small things or big things. Whatever it is, this is supposed to be really motivating and to help show you how you can overcome hard things and you can make big things happen no matter what. This is supposed to be really energizing and motivating. So keep this list with you going forward. Every time you do something that's really big for you, write it down. Keep a log of this. Don't forget. Don't forget how far you've come. Your life is very different now than it was 5 years ago. Think about how different it will be by the end of this year if you put your all into something that really means something to you, that you really care about. Okay, so let's move into these sacred geometry cards. This is one of my favorite decks. It has some really good advice on these cards. So let's see what this energy is for this year, 2025, for you, pile number 2. We have card number 42. It's called Tantric Journey. All right. It says the frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. So this can definitely have to do with a relationship. It doesn't have to be. We'll talk about that. It doesn't have to be within a relationship. This can be you in your ordinary life. This could have to do with eating. This can have to do with a lot of things. Anything that you use your senses for. So it could be like laying in bed and feeling the soft comforter. Um, it could even be something as mundane as washing the dishes and being very present as you wash the dishes, doing something very slowly and enjoying the process. One of my favorite things is driving. I really like to drive, and just feel the road underneath the tires and the feeling of the steering wheel in my hands. I like to be very present as I'm driving. It's really, um, if you're really hyper present as you're doing something, you can find all of the pleasure that is in the experience of doing that thing. It's actually really exciting. Um, but if you have a partner, or a partner is something that you are trying to manifest, or that you have this goal of finding your life partner, when you are with somebody, really soak up the experience of being one on one with them. What you're doing is you are consciousness, you are the universe within a body, and this person is a mirror or a reflection of you. So, what you're doing when you're with a person is you are consciousness looking back at consciousness, having an experience together with yourself. So, this can be something to meditate on when you're with another person. And like this card says, it's talking about wholeness. That to me is the key back to wholeness. You don't need another person to do this. Like I used my example with like washing the dishes or driving. Um, you can go out and meditate with a flower or a tree or whatever it is, any inanimate object. What you're doing still, it's imbued with this conscious energy. Everything is a part of the source. You are consciousness still looking back at consciousness. So have that experience with the object and be one with it. That is a great way to experience this wholeness. It's a very healing experience. All right, let's see what else we've got for you. Pile number 2. These are the Tree of Life Oracle cards. And we have Yesod, the Foundation, card number 9. It says birth, cycles, intuition. Now, Yesod on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life is corresponding with the moon. And again, like the card says, it is the foundation. It's the foundation of life, and it's also where we set up our foundations. I think that this corresponds with the astral. So this is where things exist right before they become actual physical, and this is the subconscious energies that are just behind the physical. And I think it's also really interesting you chose the goddess pile, because when we're talking about goddess energy, divine feminine, a big part of that, not all of it, but a big part of that is working with the subconscious mind. That is the subconscious energy that births the actual physical reality. So I think that you're going to make really, really big strides with this next year. You might have a goal that you are aiming towards and you're building up your foundation for it, and you're going to experience a pretty good amount of success this year, and you're going to take something really far. However, that doesn't mean that you're going to experience your heights this year, the peak of something. That's something that might come the next year. It might come later. It might still come this year. I'm not saying that it's not, but I think that there's going to be a really big focus this year on setting up that foundation for something even better. This is a time where you're going to be internalizing a lot. You're going to be taking in a lot of information, and you're going to be growing something that is very, very, very important to you. All right, so let's go ahead and get a little bit more. What else do we have for you? Pile number 2. We have enjoying the moment, and that goes right hand in hand with that tantric card. I think that you might need to slow down a little bit, and I really like that for the first 3 months we have the Knight of Pentacles, and that is about that slow movement, the slow growth. And I think for the next 3 months, it might be a really, really good idea to purposely slow down. Something really interesting happens when you slow down. Things start to speed up. So, if you have been feeling extremely overwhelmed lately, this is going to be a really, really good message for you to hear. If you've been feeling really overwhelmed, start to perform your tasks really slowly. If you have time in your day, you might have a million things that you're doing piled to. You might be really ambitious people. So if you have time in your day, if you can set aside time to meditate, and I don't mean follow a guided meditation, I don't mean listening to meditation music. I mean, cut out all stimulation. Turn your phone off. Turn absolutely everything off, and really sit and meditate in complete silence if you're able to do that. Um, really experience the moment just as it is, and bring this mindfulness into everyday activities. If you don't have time or the ability to be completely silent and do that meditation, then it might be a good idea to really employ something or have an activity that you do really slowly. For example, uh, washing the dishes. When you wash the dishes, don't try to just get it done really fast so you can move on to the next thing. Instead, take your time and do the activity extremely slowly. You can even pretend like you're in slow motion, like it's ridiculously slow. This is something that is really calming to your nervous system. This can help slow down the mind, slow down the thoughts. This can help us process something in the moment very easily. So I really like that this card came out with enjoying the moment. And we can see a couple whales, and we see this water, and we have the surface at the top, but there's so much going on below it. And that's also reflecting this divine feminine and the depths at which something can be, which we don't see all of it because it's internal and it's growing something, or it's this container for something. I could go on and on and on about this, but this is going to be you focusing on diving into those depths within the self before you go too hard on the outside world and try to externalize or change everything outside of you. It's time to focus on what's going on internally. All right, so we're reaching the end of your reading, and I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation, but I have a couple of these affirmation decks. So there's a specific message that's coming out for you, pile 2, and it says, speak up. It says, what are you not saying that's eating you up inside? You can't keep this in forever. It's time to let it out so you can move on and be happy. There's something that you need to say. You need to speak your piece. And I think this next year you're going to be speaking your mind. You're going to be a little bit more authentic, maybe. And maybe a little bit, well, you don't want to like leave things in your internal system. Under the surface, it's muddling things up. You want to bring things out to the surface and make yourself known. If you have boundaries, you want to make your boundaries known. So this is the last card that we have for you. It says, I embrace my shadows and understand that they help me become stronger. May I continue to learn and grow from them. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody who chose pile number 2. I hope the best for you. Hopefully this reading resonated with you. If it did, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe for more content. If you're interested in a private reading, you can book me. My website is linked in the description below. And also, I do have a course on tarot and Kabbalah, studying these two things together. So if that's something that you're interested in, the link is also in the description below. And thank you all so much for watching. Until next time. Hey everybody that chose pile number 3, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear for the year of 2025. The card that you chose is Breaking Bad Habits. This is card number 7. It says self-acceptance and excellent mental health. So this is a really exciting card for you to choose, and I'm really excited to jump into the reading and kind of see what we have for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some of these tarot cards, and what we're doing is we are taking a look at the year split into the season, so 3 months at a time. And if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, the first thing that we're going to look at is winter of 2025, or the first 3 months of 25. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, just reverse it. So let's see what we've got for you. The first thing that pops out here is judgment. And this is really, um, this is a really big message. I mean, obviously, it's a major arcana card, and there's a larger emphasis when those types of cards come out. With judgment, this is about coming into a higher state of consciousness or like waking up. There could be a wake up call. I think that with this relating to do with breaking bad habits and improving your mental health, I think that there's like an answer. There's an answer that's coming for you right from the beginning of the year. And I don't know, I mean, of course, a lot of people make New Year's resolutions, so I don't know if this has to do with that or if there's just something else going on. But I think that there's going to be a really, really big answer that's going to hit you in the face. It's going to be really, really, really obvious about these changes that you're making, and what's working and what's not. So I want to see what else. This card is just popping out. This is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is gaining clarity, expressing the truth, not really getting the emotions involved when it's something that's important to you and you're speaking your truth. The emotions are just not really there. It's very logical, and you say what you mean and you mean what you say. That is coming within the next 3 months, after the first. So we're talking about the second quarter now. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, we're talking about spring. This is where you are going to be living your new truth, and you're taking action, and you're doing something different, and you feel very confident and very strong within what it is that you're doing. You're not taking, I feel like it could be like you're not taking no for an answer. You have your strong boundaries. You're quick to cut somebody out of your life if they are not serving you in any way. And this doesn't mean that everybody has to serve you, but with the changes that you're making, it's really important for you to know who to let into your life and who to not let into your life. It's going to be extremely important coming up. We're going to pull more clarifications on these in just a moment, but I want to go ahead and see what this third quarter looks like. Oh, we have the Fool. The Fool. So I think there's going to be this fresh beginning. So we are working through some stuff. We have this higher calling maybe, or this big reveal at the very beginning of the year. We are being able to exercise our power in, maybe it's our judgment. Well, it's the Judgment card. But when I'm talking about the King of Swords, I'm thinking about the judgment on who we let in and out of our lives, and the types of energy that people have access to. So yes, we are really stepping into the energy of using our judgment and our discernment, especially when it comes to people. But the Fool, it's like after we've been working on that for a minute, the Fool represents this new beginning and this new exciting opportunity, or this new energy after we've been able to implement these changes. And the Fool is not really too worried about what's going to happen in the future, not too worried about the cliff that's in front of them, not too worried about the past. There's no thought to either of those things. It's just living here in the moment and being completely free and excited for the now. And if we're talking about breaking bad habits, now this can go in a lot of different directions. Of course, we could be talking about substances. We could be talking about people. We could be talking about negative thinking, really any kind of negative, any habit that we consider to be negative or bad, any of it. When we quit doing something, maybe it is a substance, or maybe it is overeating, or something like that. When we do quit doing something, there might be a fear of how are we going to deal with this event in the future where I am being presented with this substance. Like, for example, if it's like quitting drinking, and then what are you going to do when you go to that event where this is everywhere, everybody's drinking? How are you going to handle that? The Fool is giving that message of we don't care about that in the future. There is no need to think about that right now. All you need to do is get through today. All you need to do is experience and be grateful and have the liveliness for now, the vitality for now, for today. And as we go days and days and days without this habit, we get used to our new life. Our brain heals, our brain changes. We develop these new neural connections. Everything starts to get easier. Our energy changes. And by the time we get to this event that we were so worried about, we realized that it was actually really easy to move through that event because, we feel good. We're being our most authentic self, and we are excited for the moment. We're not worried about whatever this is that we thought we were going to be so worried about in the past. So the Fool is really embodying the now. So I think that that's a big lesson and a big thing that you're going to get to experience that's really exciting when we are approaching the second half of the year. All right, so what do we have for the last quarter of the year? We have the Queen of Pentacles. And I love this card. It has a really strong emphasis on our environment, and it could be our home life. And also we have a bonus card that jumped out earlier it just didn't seem right to lay it in this spread. So I think we have a bonus message of the Lovers, and we'll talk about that in a second. So the Queen of Pentacles has that strong emphasis on the environment and cultivating a beautiful environment. There is this energy of overcoming. We're not afraid to look at our shadows. We're not afraid to look at that darkness. Maybe it has to do with mental health. We're not afraid to dive into the things that we used to be afraid to dive into. So we're able to actually face the issues and see it for what it is. And it doesn't bother us anymore. And that shows the improvement and the growth that we have experienced. So that is a really positive note for the mental health aspect. And then on the other hand, when we're talking about that environment, we could be creating a better home or creating a more structured and stable home for us to dwell within. 2025 is going to be a year where you're able to create that stability that you weren't going to be able to create without breaking some of these bad habits. And again, maybe I'm using a bit more of extreme examples with like substances, but this can be really just as simple as negative thinking. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't be, but just how much does negative thinking change our energy, and it changes our decision, and that one decision could lead to a couple more decisions that could lead to a completely different life. So if you stopped negative thinking or stopped thinking, I could never have that, or I could never do this, or blah, 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 whatever it is. Think about how much that changes the trajectory of your life, because that could mean that there's that one thing that you didn't pursue, even if it was just a little bit, that could have given you some knowledge or experience, even if you failed. It could have given you a vital piece of information that you could have used in this area of your life, which could have gotten you here, which could have gotten you in contact with this person, which could have led you there, and then you would end up with a completely different life. So really think about how certain things that seem small now, these little decisions that we make now, or the habits and the structures that we have in our lives now, can lead to a completely different life if we just changed a few little things. So I think that that's going to be a big thing for you to learn, and you're going to see the evidence of that by the end of the year, obviously, because you're going to end up in a much better place. So we have that little bonus message of the Lovers, and this can represent a relationship, but I like to look at the more esoteric meanings of the cards. And when we're talking about the Lovers, really we're talking about commitment. And what kind of commitment? It's the commitment that you have to yourself. So if I really think that a lot of you, I mean, if you chose this pile, it's probably really likely that you have a habit that you're trying to break, no matter what that looks like. And of course, this might not apply to every single person. So take what resonates with you and leave the rest. But if you do have this habit that you're trying to kick, how do you think that you're going to kick it? It's because of your commitment to yourself. You're making a commitment to yourself because you love yourself. Overeating, overeating so much food is not an action that we take out of the love for ourselves. That if you truly, truly, truly love yourself and you're committed to yourself and committed to building the best life possible for yourself, the overeating would not exist. It would not be a thing in your life. So that's just one example. You wouldn't tell yourself such negative things. Sometimes the mind does what it does because you are not the mind, so the mind will go to certain places that we would rather it not go. But we, as the conscious observer of the mind, can step in and become aware and watch the mind do what it does. And as we are consciously aware that the mind is going off into this left field tangent on why we hate ourselves, as we become the observer of the mind and just watch it do what it's doing, we can see that that kind of dissolves. It loses its traction because we're not feeding our life force essence into that idea anymore. So it starts to lose its power and fall away. So that's a big message, I think, of the Lover's card, is taking things that were not conscious before and bringing them into the light. And once this darkness becomes light, or it's once the darkness is exposed to the light, the darkness just becomes light. It can't be darkness anymore. It is light now. So that is what happens when you become the observer and you watch the mind do its thing. The mind ceases to exist. It's really interesting. So maybe you're interested in getting into some of the Zen Buddhist type stuff, and highly recommend Eckhart Tolle. I really like his stuff. That he has these talks that he gives, and his books are really great. Really like his stuff, and he talks a bit about that. But I really heavily relate it to that Lover's card, as it is showing you not abandoning yourself. You are committed to your consciousness. Okay. So let's talk about some of these clarifications that we can get. So what is going on with the first half of the year? What is our Moonology card for the first half of the year? We have faith. Have faith in your dreams. So if there is something that you are going for, have faith in it. Believe that you can achieve it. Again, this is going to go back to rewiring our mind and changing our beliefs and reminding ourselves that we can do hard things. A personal issue reaches resolution. So this is for the second half of the year. A personal issue reaches a resolution. I really, really like that. So that is full moon in Cancer. Something is definitely coming to a head, and it reaches its resolution with the second half of the year. We have Walk Your Truth. So this one, with these cards, I typically have whoever I'm reading for look into it and interpret it for themselves. So everybody might see something that's slightly different, or something else jumps out at them. So we have a hand, we have a galaxy. To me, the way I interpret this is this: we are leaving our mark on the universe. So there is something that you're here to do. There's a light that you share with the world. And we all might come from the same source, right? But we all might be sharing the same light, but we don't all do it the same way. You have your unique way. You have your unique gifts and abilities. There's a certain way that you bring your truth and life force energy forward into the world that has an effect on people. You're here to leave your mark. So I think that this is your kind of message for the year, is to don't be afraid to leave your mark. Don't be afraid to be seen. Be who you are, be seen, be visible, and do your thing. Don't worry about what people are thinking about you, or don't worry about your past. Don't think too much about the future. Definitely have plans, goals, and a vision, but don't worry too much about where things are going. Just enjoy the now. Don't be afraid to be seen, and leave your mark. Share your light with the world in your unique way. And if you see something else and you have your own interpretation of this card, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Okay, this card is jumping out. It is the third eye chakra, card number 6. So this is the sacred geometry card. It says, the frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition and our inner knowing, our imagination, and our psychic powers. So you might be called to do third eye meditations. You might be called to step more into your intuition. I don't know if you're the type of person who reads tarot, reads cards, or you do some sort of channeling, or you do, I don't know what it is exactly that you do, but you might be called to dive even deeper into that. And actually, if you're quitting any habits, I highly recommend doing something like that, because as you are changing your life, or you are removing something from your life, sometimes we have this empty space. And sometimes it's really good. We need that empty space so that way we can create something new, and we can't be afraid of that empty space. But as we are removing things, we are banishing things from our lives, sometimes it's easy to create something new to obsess over. And that's really natural. Some people will say to avoid that, and I might have a different take, but I think that it's natural to kind of do that. The mind wants to replace something with something else. So if that's the case, focus on things that are improving your life. Get addicted to improving your life. Get addicted to self-development. Get addicted to getting in touch with your intuition and really seeing yourself for who you are. Do shadow work. Don't be afraid to face the darkness and merge it back with light. Don't be afraid to do these things. All right, so we have these Tree of Life Oracle cards. I want to see what we've got for you, pile number 3. What do we have for 2025 with the Tree of Life Oracle? Okay, so this kind of goes back to the lovers. But we have the Sun. So this is the 30th path. Purpose, vision, and self-mastery. The Sun is also related to that Tiferet energy. And this is the Sun is the light. And we were talking about the darkness being merged back with light. When you shine light, so this is the consciousness, the awareness. We shine that into these shadow aspects. I'm saying that with these quotation marks. But we shine that into these darker aspects, and it becomes light. This is going to be a year where you are having an awakening. It could be several awakenings throughout the year, but you are finding this authenticity, or you're finding out more about consciousness and how you operate, and how this light presents itself within the world, or how this light observes the self, how the light manifests. And I think that you are taking the steps to commit to it. And you are taking the steps to accept this awakening that's happening. So that's really, really exciting. All right, so we are approaching kind of the end of your reading. So I have a couple more cards here. We have what matters the most. All right. So what matters the most? I think that that's a question that you probably should ask yourself, is what matters the most? In this card, of course, we have the heart being emphasized. So is it the moment that matters the most? Is it the commitment to the self that matters the most? Is it thinking about the longevity and the abundance and the beauty of your life? What matters the most to you? How can you experience the self-love and self-compassion? How can you nurture the self and nourish the self in the body? That's going to be really important. That's a big important theme of this reading. All right, so I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation, and we have presence. It says, you're being asked to spend more time in the present moment, and that means to stop ruminating about the past or longing for the future. Your life is happening right now, and when you're not present for it, you miss all of its beauty. perfect alignment with everything else that we're saying. And then the very last card is I am able to find the answers I seek. May I remain open to receiving them and find them even in unlikely places. Awesome. Well, I'm really excited for you and all of the things that are coming up for you. If this reading resonated with you, please leave a comment, like, subscribe for more content. I do offer personal readings, so if you do want a personal reading done by me, you can check out the link in the description below. I also have a course where I teach Kabbalah and Tarot together. And that is something that you can sign up for in the link in the description below too, if that's something that you're interested in. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, and really enjoy and soak up all you can out of 2025. Thank you so much. Until next time.